So I'd like to give you a few ways that you can virtually give back from the privacy and safety of your own home. Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. I know we're all feeling down right now during the COVID-19 quarantine, and there's a lot of stress. So I wanted to put on my Professor Walsh hat and give you a little lesson in Freudian psychology. And at the end, one big treatment that we can all give ourselves to alleviate some feelings of anxiety and depression. First of all, Sigmund Freud talked about defense mechanisms. In fact, he was so far ahead of his time that today we use his language in everyday conversation. But let me break it down for you. Some of the defense mechanisms are not healthy though, but there's one really healthy one at the end. First of all, repression. We know about repression. It means that you take your feelings and you just push them down and you will not allow yourself to experience them. This is dangerous, of course, because then they go into your body and they can show up as physical symptoms when your body speaks for you. Then there's regression, when you become infantile or when you regress to a time in your past. In children, you might see an older child suddenly start thumb sucking again or bedwetting again. We call that regression. Then there's denial. Oh, you know the deniers out there. They're the ones saying this is a hoax. They're saying that they're invincible. They don't need to wear a mask and gloves. They make us angry because they're in such deep denial. Then there's projection. That's when you take your feelings, you don't want to feel them, so you point fingers at everybody else. And you see people out there, they're on the internet criticizing everybody else's behavior. They're taking videos of people who are hoarding toilet paper or getting too close in the social distancing time. And they're very, very critical. They're projecting all their anxiety out into the world. Again, not very healthy. And Freud also talked about a defense mechanism called displacement. That's where you take anger that should go somewhere else, like at COVID-19, and put it on your kids, your spouse, the dog. That's displacement, and it's really not very healthy. But there was one defense mechanism that Sigmund Freud said was very helpful, in fact, healing and soothing for all of us, and that is sublimation. Sublimation is taking your pain, looking for people who have similar pain, and helping them. And while you're soothing and healing and helping them, you're self-consoling in a way as well. So it helps you feel better to give back. So I'd like to give you a few ways that you can virtually give back from the privacy and safety of your own home. Number one, check in with your neighbors. If you have their phone numbers, text them or call them. If you don't, leave a note on their door. I have an elderly lady who lives across the street, so I simply stood on the sidewalk and yelled to her. Her window was open. She could hear. I asked her for her phone number, said I'd text her whenever I was going to the grocery store and pick up anything for her. Help yourself feel like you're in a village. You're not alone in this, and this will help you feel better as well as getting to help others. Number two, use the food that's in your fridge. Yeah, the stuff you've been hoarding. You know, every year 72 billion pounds of food gets wasted in America. So I want you to use everything up. Eat your leftovers. Save your leftovers. Listen, I have about 10 cans of tuna here. I Googled what to do with a can of tuna and came up with some amazing recipes. So take the time to use up everything you have and don't waste. It's good for the environment and it'll make you feel good. Here's a great app that lets you help virtually anytime. It's called Be My Eyes, and it connects you virtually with a blind person who might need you to read a label on a package, look at an expiration date, or tell them whether their sweater is red or blue so they can get dressed in the morning. There are millions of people on Be My Eyes, but download it and you might get called upon to answer a question for somebody who's visually impaired. If you can, make a donation. I know there are so many nonprofits right now that are just struggling for donations, and many of them are the really important social safety net for so many people, whether they be churches or religious organizations or organizations that are just reaching out in the community, helping the homeless, helping low-income families. They really need your help during this time. So if you can, make a donation online. Also, you can donate to the front lines. Make a telephone call to your fire station, your local police station, your local hospital. Ask them what they need. Drop off pounds of coffee. Drop off groceries. Get a restaurant in your neighborhood to stay in business by buying food for them to deliver to your first responders. This is a way that you can feel part of the war and making a difference. Finally, If you're one of the fortunate people who survived the COVID-19 virus, you're probably carrying the antibody. And right now, the Red Cross is looking for people to donate plasma. If you donate plasma, you can save the lives of 3 people suffering with COVID-19. Those are just a few ideas for you to help out, but you can do it, and I promise you it'll help you feel better. I mean, Sigmund Freud can't be wrong, right? I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Thanks for listening to us on Local Now. You can listen to me every week on KFI AM 640 radio in Los Angeles on Sundays from 4 to 6, but anywhere in the country, you can hear it live on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. Mating Matters is the place to understand why we do what we do. It's the secret to winning the mating game. It's all explained using evolutionary psychology in my podcast, Mating Matters. Listen and follow Mating Matters on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Mating Matters.